Okay, perfect. So first and foremost, like I mentioned earlier, one of the challenges was just the deployment of Adageis. So it was a little difficult, set up the plugin. It was, confusing potentially for your providers. And so now all they have to do, and hopefully you can see it, it's just going to basically show up as an icon on their desktop. And this would replace basically all the tools that they're currently using today. So any links to your EMR, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the Adageis desktop app. And again, everything is, obviously customizable, and I'm currently using demo data, but you'll kind of get the idea. So along the top here, we have tabs, which are kind of showing you all of the analytics that we're producing through the Adageis application. And then we have all of the tabs that we're currently using for our EMR experience. So for example, this is a demo EMR that I'm using. I'm on a particular patient record in the system. But let's start with the dashboards real quick. So obviously we give you a whole rich suite of dashboards at the practice level, at the provider level, and obviously at the patient level. So here we're bubbling up all the key performance indicators that we've identified for your particular practice. Obviously, if you click on any of these, you will drill down. We give you little explanations about what all these KPIs are doing. So we could easily drill down into our quality measure performance. So these is all of the groups that we've created within our system and how we're actually doing against kind of those objectives. So, and of course, we can sort these by any particular attribute. We can view them as donuts. We can view them as charts. I mean, we have the ability to drill into this information as well. So, for example, controlling high blood pressure, currently there's 25,000 quality measures in the system that we're currently tracking against our patient base, and about 38% of those are currently satisfied. So we can quickly see the practice level and the contract level incentives for these particular groups, et cetera. We can also view it at a provider level, so we can start looking at the performance of individual providers. We can also cast it across all of the different insurance and payers that we have in the system by particular specialties in our practice. And then if you have practices across many states, we can also show that information at a state level. If you click on any of these, so for example, this one here, if I click on it, we can actually see all the physical quality measures that are being generated. And if I click on any of these, it will take me directly into the Adageis enriched chart, and we can easily pick through all of these quality measures and see what all the criteria it is that is necessary to satisfy them. And again, we can quickly go back to our dashboard by clicking that. So we provide dashboards and the ability to drill down and do deep analytics for your quality measures. We also provide a financial analysis. So this would be more like practice level information and financial performance that you can see for your practice. And, what we can do is we can even show kind of opportunity bubbles. So you can kind of see where the opportunities lie within your practice at the provider level, at the insurance level, state level, et cetera. So again, if you hover over any of these things, we give you detailed descriptions about all the KPIs that we're currently tracking. So we give you obviously KPI bubble ups, and we also have the ability to have specific KPIs just for your business. So we can also do client specific KPIs. So if you have particular KPIs that are perhaps unique to your practice, those can be easily added. So again, we have a quality measure drill down. We also do the risk analysis. So this is the Adageis risk scoring algorithm for your patients within the system. So you can see how your risk distribution of your patient panel is doing. And again, you can filter all of this information by all the stuff that we've shown you. We also give you some RVU analysis charts. So you can see kind of the RVUs over time. And again, you can apply any filters and apply kind of any date ranges that are interesting to you. So again, at a high level, extremely rich dashboards. And again, we can customize these also at a client level. So again, here's all your filters. You can also save your filters. So if you want to run certain scenarios and come back and rerun those scenarios, you can also save those as well. If we move over to the patient chart, you'll notice that here on the right.
And Bill, ahead, before we jump into the patient and the more tactical use of the software, just wanted to pause. And, I think one of the things that some of our larger organizations that are using the system, they have started to use Adageis or have been using Adageis now to look at ways to bonus the physicians based on improvements in their, how they're closing their quality care gaps. They're using the system. So again, this is a way for you from a financial standpoint to look at ways to incentivize providers, to be more proactive about closing those care gaps when they're seeing the patients. And we have Cassie Hines on the line as well. She's our director of quality and clinic operations and works very closely with, again, she as part of joining the team in the MSO, right? So she helps designing and helping you build out those programs. So Cassie, I don't know if there's anything you want to add from a dashboard standpoint. Otherwise, we can jump into the tactical side, or how the clinical side would be using the tool. And Holden, if you and your team has any questions on the dashboards, we can pause for a second.
No, I apologize. I actually have a hard stop for a meeting at 10:30. So this piece in the chart I am particularly interested in.
Perfect. We'll keep moving on.
Great. So like Sarah indicated, this is kind of the more, the dashboards are more, strategic, and this is the more tactical view of the system. So this is your actual EMR here. And again, we support any kind of web-based EMR, and we're also in the next release, we'll also support some of the older EMRs that are kind of running local clients through kind of a virtual machine, embedded virtual machine in Adageis Desktop. But if you're using, and I think you're using a web-based EMR right now, so it'll interface directly with that. But again, there's a little side panel. So obviously you can have the full screen if you like, but you can always show kind of the Adageis intelligence, kind of tactical information. So we give you an analytics tab. So we scan the entire chart of the patient, and we bubble up all pertinent information that would be important right before an encounter with the patient. And of course, just like on the dashboard, if there are things that are particularly interesting to your particular practice, we can add those fairly easily, right? So this list is dynamic based upon what's important to you guys. But we're bubbling up any care gaps, any recent anomalies with the chart, what their current risk level is. We also keep track of kind of the pace and cadence of their encounters. So this patient isn't due to come back into our practice for another 114 days. So we're good. 8 of 11 of the quality measures are currently satisfied. And again, we're bubbling up allergies, HCC, diagnoses and gaps and stuff like that that would be relevant. If I click the quality measures here, we can get a quick little chart of kind of all the quality measures that we're currently tracking for this particular patient. So we've got 8 of 11 satisfied. We've earned $130 against those quality measures. We can quickly, look at the ones that aren't currently satisfied. And if we click on any of these, we are immediately presented with kind of the rules of the quality measure. So how do they get included into this quality measure? Are there any rules to exclude them from this quality measure? And then how do we satisfy this quality measure? So as I'm working inside of my EMR and working within the chart, I can easily reference this information as I'm in the system. So obviously, we give you, ability to search these quality measures, filter them, sort them, et cetera, and you can see, if there are, values associated with the quality measure, you can easily see them within the screen, so you kind of prioritize your work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then, here's all of your AI scribes. So as Sarah described earlier, this is our transcription service. So you're able to, here at the top, you'll notice there's some buttons called AI Scribe and Dictate. If I click the AI Scribe, what you'll see is that it's going to try to start kind of a new session. I'm not going to do that right now for the demo, but you can start an AI Scribe, and what it's going to do is it's going to, obviously record that interaction, and it's going to provide you the full kind of notes of that encounter. It's going to break it into relevant categories. It's going to give you all the current diagnosis codes that it detected in that particular encounter, shows you the full transcript, and then automation jobs. So one cool thing, and I don't really have any good data for this patient, but one cool thing that we can do is we have the ability to actually send this information directly into your EMR. So if you do an encounter and you want to actually insert the data that was returned from AI Scribe directly into your EMR, into the notes of the encounter, for example, we can simply hit this Run Agent button. We pick the encounter date, and we're going to click Run. And you'll notice here at the top, you'll see this little spinning icon. This shows you kind of all the steps that's going to be completed against that record in the system. So we're going to connect to your EMR. We're going to try to find that encounter record. It's going to fail because I didn't create it. And if we look at the job history, I don't know why it's doing that, but it'll show you the job history for that particular. I think it's because this is demo data. We don't quite have it staged correctly. But the whole idea is that we can have AI Scribe, we can and then insert that information directly into the chart. This is just one example of the many automations that we have available to kind of streamline the experience and make it very easy for your providers to be efficient in the system. We also have a dictate module. So, and I can actually run this in real time. So you can see that you can actually do real-time dictation of your notes directly within the tool. Once you hit stop, you can just now drag these notes directly into the patient chart. So it makes it real easy for you to just dictate and then just copy and paste those notes directly into the tool. And again, we would show you any jobs. So you'll see the jobs that we ran, all the AI Scribes, quality measure analytics. And if at any time you want to see the full Adageis enriched patient chart, all you have to do is hit the expansion icon here, and now you'll see the full chart of this particular patient fully enriched with all of the Adageis data and additional stuff that's available like that. We do have an extensive help section. We also have a setup wizard. So when you run Adageis Desktop the first time, it'll walk them through configuring the system, setting up their microphones, setting up their locking, setting up Windows Hello so that they can easily lock the interface and unlock it with just a pin or even with their face to make it really easy to use. We keep your EMR alive in the background so you don't get any timeouts. We allow you to embed your credentials securely within the tool to prevent you having to re-enter your credentials every time, and et cetera. So we make it very easy for the provider to onboard providers. We give them an extensive help section. And again, the tool's growing every day. So we've got quite the velocity on the the Adageis Windows application. So the velocity is quite high right now. So tons of new features in the roadmap that we'd love to share with you. So hopefully that was interesting, and I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
On the dictation piece, just thinking about our current state, we have a couple of different AI tools for dictation that providers are using, and our current EHR partner is in development stages of their own embedded AI tool for dictation. How is there more functionality within this tool than what you're showing us, or is that kind of it?
Yeah, so you can obviously specify how you want it to behave. So if we can have it in dictation mode, so if you want to say periods and commas and stuff like that, we can auto do punctuation. We convert when you say 18 into the number versus writing out the word 18. We can consolidate measurements. We can, detect multiple speakers if you would like us to do that. We also have the ability to redact as well. So if you want to redact certain information, as well as set your preferences for utterance, which is basically when you stop speaking, how does it know the kind of the spacing between sentences when you're talking? So everyone talks at a little different pace and cadence, so you can kind of adjust that to your needs. So yeah, so we do have a bunch of settings that you can play around with in terms of getting the dictation dialed in to your particular needs.
Was there a particular functionality some of the other tools had that you were looking for, Holden?
Well, like coding, risk adjustment codes, the picking up on the ambient listening tool, so that it's picking up on things the patient's saying as well. Those kind of things.
Yeah, that's the AI Scribe. So it does all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all part of the tool. Like it won't pick up if you're talking about the golf game, right? But will pick up other things the patient is saying that may go into overall holistic health. So yeah, like other AI scribe tools, it has that. And you don't necessarily need to use our AI scribe tool, right? When you think about the power of Adageis, it really comes as, obviously a financial audit tool, but also at the provider level, showing those open care gaps, right? And really all the value-based care incentives and the information that you need to know going into the encounter. And again, we're looking at VIM and wanting to make sure, we're thinking about their functionality on our roadmap. VIM is more of from our understanding, and we're still learning, it's a great infrastructure integration tool, right? Creating that two-way data pathway. So that's what we're trying to do with our tool, in addition to all the functionality around the value-based care that you see. So that's where we're still a differentiator in the space. So hopefully what we've done with the tool, piques your interest again as a better starting point for an overall partnership with PCIS. We're opening to broadening the conversation with them and looking at white labeling, or, we'll give you some time to digest. I want to be respectful of your time. Really appreciate you reconnecting with us. And would love to get back together, maybe with a broader audience. Shane, our CEO, Dr. Spears, is out on paternity leave. So, would love to bring him into the conversation as well, with his clinical background, and see where you think we could add the most value.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great Friday. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.